Hello, my name is Owen, and welcome to my goals for the next year, 2024. What I want to do is talk about some of my reading goals, what I plan to read, how I plan on reading them, some broad stroke stuff, some specific stuff as well. Then also some channel stuff as well. Why not YouTube it a little bit, but not too much though. I promise. Last video I made, these are the books I plan to read in 2023 video. I just lied the whole time. I rewatched it. I think I did two. I did two of the books that I listed. The rest of them didn't even sniff. Didn't even consider picking them up. So I don't even know why I made that. Why was I just lying? Who possessed me in that moment to just make a list of books that I really have no interest in reading? Not that I don't have interest in reading them, but like in terms of priorities, so far low in the list. So far low, right? So like I said, I'm going to have some specifics in terms of specific lists of books, but these are books that if I don't read, I simply have to set myself on fire because one reason or another, either I own them, they're right here, most of them are, or it's just like I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? I think actually all of them on my list are here. So that's why, because I already have them. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to find them. I'm going to wait for them. They're just here, and it's going to be great. But going into the more general stuff first, one of the things I want to do when going into reading as a hobby, I want to adopt a deeper reading stance. That's such a weird way to word it. I want to read deeper into the books that I'm reading this year. And what does that mean? Well, I watch some of the booktubers I enjoy the most are big classic readers, and they immerse themselves in the world. They spend a lot of time with them, and I'm not smart enough to do what they do, and the way they talk about the books is so like poetic, like they're like artists themselves, and just the way that they talk about books. But I do respect that level of dedication to a single book that you're reading, and I think one way that I can kind of adopt that in my own way with the books that I'm reading is, first of all, to focus one book at a time in the next year. I noticed that the times of the year where I was in my biggest reading slumps, it's because I was trying to read two big fantasy books at the same time, and a short one on the side, and a Kindle book as well, and an audiobook sometimes as well. If I'm reading a book, I want that to be the book. I want to dedicate myself to it and truly immerse myself in it. And I feel like the pressure that I had in this past year, all self-inflicted by the way, the pressure to read multiple books at once is in my head. I feel like it's faster that way. Like I could read more books in a year if I'm reading multiple books at a time, because I'm really worried about my number. What's my end number? How many books am I reading a month? How many reviews can I get a month? How many can I read in a year? I don't think I'm going to reach my yearly goal. My yearly goal in Goodreads is like 41 books. I'm sitting at 37. So if I really pushed, I could maybe do something. Who knows what we'll end up with. But I'm so much less concerned about what my number will be that I feel like going to a book one at a time, it'll take as long as it takes, because spending time with a book is a great way for it to develop a relationship with, in a way. And that might sound a little bit weird because it's not just the time you're physically reading the book, but if you give yourself time to be in the world outside of reading it, like if it takes you if a book takes you a month to read, it's not a month of you looking at a page, it's a month of your life where this story is like interspersed in your daily life. And in that way, it's entwined with your real life experiences, and it's tied with your real life emotions. And then it's like a spot you return to every day, or if you can't read that day, every other day, or at least once a week and stuff like that, no matter what your pace is going to be. And it will develop a real meaningful connection, that book, not just your connection to the story, but the story to your life, which I think is like something I love when it happens on the rare occasions. Some of my favorite books are ones that like I can vividly remember the person I was at the time and what I was going through at the time. I want more of that in 2024. I want the books to be part of my soul. You know what I mean? So one at a time. That's basically it. And then the pace as well. I'm not going to try to fly through these. I'll read as much as my brain desires. And if I'm really enjoying it, that'll probably be a little bit faster. But I'm not trying to get to a page count. I'm not trying to get a percentage on my Kindle. I'm not trying to finish a book by the end of the month. I'm not trying to finish it by the end of the week. It goes how it goes. And I feel like not only will that inadvertently make me read more books, if my theory is correct, we'll see. And if it doesn't, well, I guess. But if it does, then we just have read more books and then we enjoyed them all the more, which I think is pretty special. And then in terms of the channel flipping there, one thing I want to do in my reviews more is, because I want to have this more intimate relationship with the book, I want my reviews to maybe be a little bit more critical. I have an experiment with that with my last couple of reviews, where I feel like it's very easy, even if I did like a book, to not look at it other than like the deep level of its entertainment value. I want to talk about like why it works, and then bring more like themes of like the why of why this book was written, or why do I think this book was written, and why did I enjoy it, and is there anything that it could have been done to maybe enjoy it more, maybe like a more like literary critic take. I'm not gonna start smoking my pipe wearing monocles, but I wanna think about these things more deeply, because one thing I do miss from school is it requires you to think about text in almost like a different like angle than just reading it and enjoying it. You're looking at it for different things. And I'm not saying I want to write book reports again, but there is like an academic angle that I could take in concurrence with my entertainment angle, which I feel like will make me understand it more and make my brain bigger. 2024 is about me getting smarter than you. I'm already smarter than you. But that's what I want to do. So I want my reviews to be a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more layered, and I want them to be balanced. If I like a book, you'll know I like the book. If I don't like the book, you'll know why I don't like it. But on the flip side, I want to give you what's good about it too. I think it's hard to find books that are 100% good or 100% bad. And perfect books are very, very rare. And if I do find a perfect book, I want to find a way to articulate that in the way it's not just like, I really liked it, I thought it was good. Come on, I'm better than that. But moving on from there, what do I plan on reading? More generally, in terms of like genres, this might be a controversial take, guys, and don't take it the wrong way. I think that I'm going to venture outside of fantasy, maybe more than I have in the past. Not that I'm burnt out on fantasy, and I do have a lot of fantasy books on my loose plans for 2024. I'm still going to continue doing Malazan. I think that's where I really started like analyzing a text very deeply, is my reread of that series in those videos. It's one of the favorite things I do in the channel, even though not a lot of people watch them. Which, you know what? That's evergreen content. If you ever get around to that series, those videos will always be there for you. But I like that process. I'm going to continue pacing my way through those books, and I'll be interspersing the ones I haven't read, the Esselmont books, into my reread. So we'll probably end up getting some new Malazan books that I haven't read before in 2024, which I thought I was going to do this year. Hey man, ho. But those will be interspersed there. Obviously, I'm going to finish live ship, probably, if it's not in January, in early February. I love that trilogy, going to finish it. And I wouldn't be surprised if I started Tawny Man either, continuing with Realm of the Elderlings. But I'm really going to try to avoid adding anything other than Robin Hobb or Malazan. I don't think I want to do that, because what I want to do instead is do some, or a lot more classics. I want to read a lot more classic literature. There's so many great books that I feel like, not to be that guy, but that readers have to read at some point, right? And I got a couple of them on my shelf, like War and Peace, Three Musketeers. They're on my shelf. They're ready and they're raring to go. I want to read those, and I want to prioritize more stuff. I'm reading Steinbeck right now, East of Eden, and even though I'm only like a 10% of the way in as of this moment, I'm really, really enjoying it. I just like the way that old books that are certified great, I just like the way they read. And I am really enjoying it. And then on the flip side of that, this isn't a specific genre, but I want to read classics, but I also want to read some new stuff too. I'm going to be picky. I'm not going to read every junk that flies off the shelves and gets on TikTok. Okay? Don't even have TikTok because I'm so much ascended. YouTube Shorts on Instagram Reels, even though they're the same thing, I think I watch a lot of them, and I think I'm superior for not being on TikTok. I waste just as much time. It's crazy. Someone should do a study on me. But new releases, I want to be more in touch with current releases. I don't think I read other than indie authors like Derek Bailey sending me books that he wrote this year, I don't think I read anything published in the last year, which I think it's weird because there has to be great books that came out in the last year. Whether or not it's the ones Barnes & Noble are promoting, that's a different conversation for another time. But I do want to I'll be picky, but I want to pick out some stuff, maybe not once a month, but maybe once every other month, just sprinkle in some fresh stuff right off the presses just to see what's going on. And I feel like if we have that perspective of we're going to deep dive literary criticism, what's the entertainment value, the academic value of these books, maybe we can uncover a modern classic, right? Obviously, they'll be rare, but I feel like we could find, at the very least, some good books. And if we're lucky, a great book. And I have no idea what's coming out this year. I don't really know that many modern authors. Like, who's coming out with a new book? Who knows? We're going to dive into that world together. And maybe I'll find something and I'll be a hipster and I'll know it's cool before everybody else knows it's cool. Or more than likely, I'll just be reading whatever marketing is the marketist. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's just on the front stand, so I don't want to work further back in the store. I'll just pick it up right off the shelf, and then I'll say if it's good or not, and then the critics will tell me if it's good, and I'll just be a sheep, right? It's not 2024, the year of the sheep. Am I right, people? But I don't know. We're gonna see how that goes. That's the one goal I have this year, which I feel like I could very easily fail on because I don't like doing research. I don't like doing a lot of things. I don't like putting a lot of effort in. I could see myself just not putting in the effort to find a book that I'm interested in and therefore just not reading a lot of modern books. But it is something that I will strive to do. And then a couple of specifics, like I said, just some books I know I'm going to read in the next few months. Ship of Destiny, Malazan, as I already said. War and Peace, Three Musketeers, as I already said. My Du Maurier book, House on the Strand, Dead Wake, that's behind me. I'll continue reading the Hitchhiker's short stories. I might even do one of those this month, because why not? Those are the ones that I'll be definitely reading. Also, my Dan Jones book. Dead Wake is the Eric Larson nonfiction book. For those of you that don't know, Devil in White City author. That's been on my shelf for a while that I got to get to. And then other than that, this is going back to the channel, right? 2024 might also, as well as being the year of My Brain Gets Bigger, the year of the sheep, and it might also be the year I start putting marginal effort into things that I do in these videos. Let me make things very clear, okay? I'm not a video dude. I'm just not, okay? I'm a talker. I like to talk. That being said, I could see listen, all I'm saying is my motivation is kind of at an all-time high right now. I feel like I do want to make something interesting, but I just got to figure out what does that mean? What do I feel like would be fun for me to make that maybe people would want to watch as well? And what I mean by effort, maybe like I'll edit something so it's more coherent. Right? I'm not making a blockbuster film, okay? You're not going to start seeing graphics popping out of the screen and going, wow, wow, wow. But sometimes maybe I'll put the picture of a book I'm talking about up on the screen. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Because I know some people are like, it'd be really helpful. I have no idea what you're talking about. You've been talking about it for 7 minutes. I've forgotten. What book is this? You got to say the name at least every 30 seconds if you're not going to put it up on the screen. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen. And I've done that before, but I'm getting a new computer, so I think it'll be better. And maybe I'll put in some effort, right? Because if 1,100 of you have spent the fraction of a second to hit that subscribe button, the least I can do is put in the barest amount of effort for you. And that being said as well, I am super grateful for you. You guys got to know that. And then my regulars, my true ones. In the comments, you guys know who you are. We have a grand old time in the comments. I want to start doing some back and forth, right? I'm not just the overlord speaking down at the 7 people who comment every other week. I had some suggestions that maybe I start reading recommended books, and then Sam gave me some ideas. He said he wants me to read The Hidden Hand and True Crime. So you know what? I'm doing both of them. And Sam said, my reputation's on the line. If they're bad, like, I'm literally the biggest idiot of all time. He said it, not me. Okay? I'm going to read the books, though. And then I'll do a review, and that'll be something I think it'll be fun. Maybe every once in a while, you guys just like comment, like, and I'll pick, I don't know, I'll pick a book or something that I'm gonna read. I guess, I don't know. What I don't want to do is like, because here, guys, here's a little insider tip for you. I did get like partially monetized, so I could set up like a membership plan where you guys pay me every month. I'm not going to do that. I think that's ridiculous because, first of all, that implies that I think that anything I do is worth monetary value. That's ridiculous. And I could be like, oh, well, if you subscribe to my Patreon, I'll read your book. Peasant. We're saving that for 10,000, guys. I'm just going to read your books out of the goodness of my own soul. And then I'll bear judgment down upon you. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be fun. And I know a lot of you guys want me to like Name of the Wind. You guys want me to read that. I think that'd be fun if you guys, even though I said I wasn't going to read any other fantasy, but if you guys told me to do it, peer pressure would prevail. And it'd be a great time. So I don't know if I'm going to like make an official announcement of like when I'm like going to actually listen to your recommendations, but I want to start reading books that you guys want me to read because I've gotten to the point where at least some of you, others you got to work on yourself. Some of you, no, most of you, I know you guys have good taste because we got a similar taste. So if you're yelling at me to read this book, I trust you, and I want to take that judgment because why else did I do this if not to get some great books to read? And because of my specifics are so sparse going into 2024, we got a lot of wiggle room. I'm not a guy to plan ahead super far, right? It's not like my year's entirely booked. January, I got like one book I want to read. The other ones, it could be up to you. And wouldn't that be just a dandy old time? That's all I got. Those are my plans for 2024. We bounced around a little bit. We had a good time. That's the way it's going to be, you know? But maybe every once in a while, a word will pop up. Or maybe like if I sneeze, instead of just restarting the take and wasting another 30 minutes of my time, maybe I'll just edit it out. Wouldn't that be a novel concept? Be sure to like and subscribe if you like the video and you want to see more like it in the future being 2024. And as always, thanks for sticking around.